so long as like alchemy.
Now shake a pose for the camera, yo, and go left to right, left to right.
Beautiful pass by Jokic, threading the needle. Curry puts it in. Raining threes here at Oracle Arena. They are putting on an absolute clinic.
Get it, ESPN. The one thing y'all do right is them damn intros. Nikola Jokic, the Joker, the second place Denver Nuggets roll into Oracle. Y'all that joined me with the live, I said it, man. This is an important game. I don't want to hear this. It doesn't matter, regular season rev up stuff. Nah, this matters. Right on our heels, less than 20 games to go, coming off the worst loss in the Steve Kerr era at home, and a hungry young Nuggets team steps into Oracle. Klay Thompson would return to the starting lineup. What would happen, y'all? So like I said, I expected them to come out revved up with something to prove, and that they did. And you can always tell with the body language on the defensive end to start the games, just how low they are in their stance, how well they're sliding. Jokic trying to draw the foul. I thought that was the marquee matchup at center. Draymond got out, pushed the ball well. Early on, though, you're going to see Boogie continue to struggle from the three-point line. I broke down and looked at his shot over and over again, frame by frame. I'm not seeing a flaw in his form. Off the pick and roll, it's Harris and Boogie would be tested on his pick and roll defense early and often in this one. There, he held up on the test. And how did Klay look? How did Klay look coming off missing 2 games? Back like he never left. Corner 3 ball. Klay came out hungry and really led the way with this. Here's dribble handoff action. DeMarcus slides over and challenges Murray at the mid-range very well. We get out in transition here, but you know Draymond doesn't want to shoot, right? So if DeMarcus doesn't want to shoot either, now you've got 2 liabilities on this end, and we just can't have that. The extra pass, Klay can't knock it down, but it'll bog down the space. So DeMarcus has to find the stroke from outside moving forward. Klay was everywhere. Chase down, steal, KD. This ain't right, man. Don't do Millsap like that. The little bunny on the move. Now watch this defense here. Now I get it. Millsap's a maybe kind of three-point guy, but you got to get out and challenge that. It's a bit late, but what DeMarcus does is he keeps running after that. The outlet, the pinpoint pass in the hands for the finish. But when you have a guy that can knock the 3 ball down, that defense is kind of, sort of. Now I'm going to hold it here. The play is made with Draymond on this screen. Jamal Murray, young Jamal Murray, his defense is lacking, right? He gets caught on that little back screen, and it allows Klay to have a guy running at him, and that's death. The little pause, the dribble, the sidestep, and the 3 ball. Here we are getting this action with DeMarcus getting left butt naked on the 3-point line, and you can see his gears turning before he shoots it. He's losing confidence and even taking the 3 ball. And yes, DeMarcus is being attacked relentlessly in these pick and rolls, but watch Draymond here. Draymond is super guilty of over-helping this action. Here we go with DeMarcus not willing to shoot anymore. Look at the space he's being given here, right? They're giving him the Draymond treatment. Now, KD bails him out with a 3, but playing the percentages, that was a contested shot. That's not the way you want to play it. One thing I noticed about Jokic is he doesn't really roll. And so that allowed Boogie to kind of hang around and use his big pause. This time, Durant finishing with 2 hands. So I like DeMarcus's spirit. I like the way he's fighting through it. And yeah, he's compromising the defense, but I think he and Draymond have to work something out as far as the way they're helping off him is really hurting all of us. Steph, kind of a weird rhythm pull-up 3. Obviously, the big story with the shoes and the girl power day, I think that affected Steph's performance early on in this game. I'm not even going to front. Watch Klay. Klay's extremely frustrated with that turnover, and then they're going to hit a 3 ball here to try to get back in things. You rarely see Klay show that much frustration, and I think Steph was throwing the ball all over the place. He was playing loose as usual, but then he also started to force things. It was kind of uncharacteristic, and I don't know if he was trying to show out for the young lady in the audience and that whole shoe deal or what it was, but we got Steph. There was a sequence of events here to end this first quarter that really allowed Denver to get back in the game. I completely blame Steph. He just had an awful finish to this first quarter, and it allowed Denver to cut this thing to, you know, a reasonable margin. And look, I have no doubt Steph will be there when we need him most. But for whatever reason, man, it's quietly, he's had about a 6-week period here where he's just not been very good at all. So to start the second quarter, let's watch Draymond over-help again on this pick and roll action. Boogie's there. Draymond completely sucked in. Are you worried about Plumlee catching it under the rim or a wide open corner 3? This is how I would prefer this action to be. I can live with that. A contested floater from the free throw line, you play the percentage with that over wide open corner three balls. Look at Boogie passing off the roll. I think he chose wrong there. He probably should have hit S-Dot with the bounce pass and the dunk. But then you're going to see here running the floor, there's kind of a delayed transition trailer, and Plumlee beats him to the cup. But Plumlee, uncharacteristically, a quiet night against us. But I'm going to be real here. I tweeted it out at halftime that Boogie was killing us. And it was like, look, he completely misses left here. So he wasn't scoring or giving us any offense. He was bogging us down. Look at him here, pass it back to Draymond, and we end up with this shot. And then obviously he was being attacked relentlessly on the defensive end, and that's where we were kind of getting broken down. But the fact of the matter was Klay came out and was an absolute machine. He would not let us fade, even when Denver climbed back into this thing. Here we go, though. So on the other end, like basically every possession that they scored on in the second quarter to start was in a DeMarcus Cousins pick and roll. That's just what it was. And then here he is out late to the three. And so that's why I was feeling like, dang, if he's not going to give us anything offensively, we can't have him out there defensively, right? And that's just how I felt about it as Denver got back in this game. Draymond coast to coast, relatively quiet night for Draymond. And then here he is looking, is it Klay? Now he turns the ball over. So it was a really rough second quarter. And it's interesting to see how long of a leash Kerr has with him and the patience. They're, again, over-helping. So part of this, I don't want to put it all on DeMarcus. Part of this is his teammates over-helping, but the fact of the matter is that's where they're attacking. Klay, dude couldn't miss. Dude couldn't miss. Here he is again, getting something off the dribble. You got to show harder than that, Plumlee. He made him pay. Then he starts creating for others with this high-low action, and this is a nice small man finish. Where's the and one? DeMarcus can't get the call. And Denver, they just didn't seem to be as energetic or have enough effort. What do you know? Same results, right? They hit some threes that got them back in this game, but what was clear to me was they don't really have a leader, right? It's just on any given night, one of their guys can go off slim. And there was a lack of a whistle in this game, right? And so when you have that, it's great to have depth, but then roles aren't clearly defined, and Jokic is just not a scorer. That's not his mentality, right? He's a reluctant scorer. Look at this defensive sequence here. Once Looney got in the game, you can see how active and how switchable we become on defense. And as Denver climbed right back in this game, it was the championship closeout to the half. Durant, ultra efficient, 10 of 15 from the field, 26 points. And he seemed to just, his body language was much better. He seemed to be in a better mood. Klay doesn't even bring it into the shot pocket. How about 27 points in the half for Killer? Now, same play he ran with Boogie a minute ago. This time it's Iguodala with the spike. And then I'll credit Steph for kind of falling back and then just scoring within the flow of the offense. And that's what makes him special. A lot of these other lead guards would remain bullish and keep firing away, but Steph realizing, that he wasn't playing well and other guys were hot. So what does he do? He makes the extra pass. That could have easily been a 4-point play, but Klay was just hitting dagger after dagger as Oracle, as loud as I've heard them in a while, as you see, 27 at the half. Third quarter, you see Steph with his patented relocation, and what it does is it ends up with a big closing out on him, and that you're basically incapacitated running at Steph from a distance. He can just toy with you. Here, there was some weird switching. You see Steph how he tags off. I thought several times Steph switched at the wrong times, and it allowed a window for a shot. That ain't right. That's dirty, boy. Now, the way that Klay shot and the overall defensive performance allowed for this to not really matter, but he also had 7 turnovers. You see Steph there, and Will Barton, who usually kills us, that was his first field goal of the game. The Denver Nuggets starters just weren't giving them anything, and they were really marveling at that floater from Jokic. I don't like it. When you're 280, 6'11", like I know he can make that, but it's just not how you want your big guy to play, ultimately. That's just how I feel about it. It's a pretty floater. Here's Barton out in transition. And DeMarcus, your strength is your weakness is your strength. His hard-headed attitude is what allows him to play through these struggles and continue to compete. Steph, another miserable turnover. And then watch again here, when he decides to switch off Jokic, and then Draymond kind of just falls asleep here. But you see how that switch is just not at the right time. And Denver didn't really make us pay for it, but against a better offense, believe me, we will. Looney returns from the sore pelvic bone, and then watch Steph here kind of get gator arms. Like if you're a quarterback right there, if you're Draymond, like that's on your receiver. He doesn't step to the ball, and Millsap gets a little layup, and Denver stayed within striking distance here midway through the third. Aunt Pearl, Pink KD's coast to coast for the easy one. I thought Andre looked really good. His activity, his energy. You see Jordan Bell got in the game finally here at the end of the third, but Iguodala, his energy and effort level has just been so much better than we've seen in previous regular seasons. Looney 15 minutes, Jerebko 6 minutes, then Steph decides to pull up from Berkeley. The chef's been on vacation, man, but I have faith he'll be in the kitchen soon. All right, that was a bit corny. I get tired of this off-ball shit. Like, watch this. Denver blows it up. They know the action, right? And then so KD, you see how he waves it off like, oh, it's too late now. And he's not ready to really go. It's a mindset. And I just get a bit annoyed with Kerr doesn't want to run as much pick and roll. This is great defense. Steph ices the screen. It puts him in better position to defend the roller. Looney closes out, and then Bell helps the extra closeout to end the third quarter. Great defense there. Always the most interesting time of these Warrior games this season is the start of this fourth quarter. It's Isaiah Thomas getting the and one. Mike Malone's definitely going to have some choices to be made as far as their rotations go headed into the playoff. And DeMarcus had himself a quarter, man. You see him snatch that offensive rebound here. Draymond's too smart for this. Look at this help defense. He has to understand DeMarcus can't help him. DeMarcus can't get out and rotate, so he can't help as much. And it boils down to being a bit greedy. He wants the steal. He wants the block. IT knows DeMarcus isn't showing off that screen. And then Clay with a 7-footer draped all over him. Yeah, he hit it. You know how I reverse jinx things. The moment I tweet out or complain about a player, he starts playing better, and DeMarcus is no different. You see him block the shot here, and then I really like how he played this. Watch how aggressive he comes out on IT. After he hit the jumper, you see how he shows really hard and gets in front? That's fine. Let the guard blow by you. We have help on the back. It's when you come out slow and you hesitate, that's when they can really take advantage. Oh, yeah, what did Clay shoot from three? 81%, 9 of 11. And yeah, I hear you, Kyle. He's back over 40%. Look at KD trying to force DeMarcus to remain aggressive. And Boogie's like, no, fuck you. You ain't going to tell me when to shoot. KD's like, all right, fine. I'll knock it down. KD's three ball was going for him. More DeMarcus on the defensive end against Jokic. This is a good matchup for him because obviously neither one of them are speed demons or super athletic, but he has the physicality to not get knocked off balance, and he's got great hands. And Jokic, the reluctant scorer that he is, he doesn't attack quickly, and it allows DeMarcus to kind of get ready and defend. You see Draymond getting iced up on the shins. That, to me, signifies perhaps shin splints, or maybe it's the calves. I don't know. I haven't seen that amount of ice wrap on him. And then finally, Boogie bangs the three and prays to the heavens. He knows. And here's my theory on his three ball, because I said his form isn't off. I think when he's wide open, he doesn't get enough arc on the ball. But when there's a contest, it forces him to put a little more arc on it, and he tends to shoot it a little better. There's a lot of shooters in the league like that, believe it or not. More of this action, please, Steve Kerr. This dribble handoff action with Boogie, because of his size, his girth, if you will, it's going to open things up for Steph. So he knocks that down. And then I'll leave you with this. You want to see what an engaged Kevin Durant looks like defensively? Take a look at this series here. And so when you say, oh, it's kind of hard. He's so talented. It's hard to gauge his effort levels sometimes. This is an engaged Kevin Durant on defense. This is what it looks like, and this is what he can do as we close out this game and make a statement to these young Nuggets. As unique as Jokic is as a player, I think you're going to be hard-pressed to be a championship contender if he's your best player. He can be your number two, right? He's your setup guy, but if he's your lead guy, I don't know how good you can ultimately be and what your ceiling is. And the Warriors take care of business at home, make the statement against this young team. They've got Phoenix Sunday as they expect the return of Andrew Bogut midweek, perhaps against the Thunder. That'd be good. I'm out, y'all.
I've been winning so long, it's like